This is a brief look at the Microsoft Excel workbook, which contains the data that you will import into Microsoft Access to build the Menagerie Kennel database. You can see across the bottom there are multiple tabs within this workbook, which means that there are multiple worksheets. Each tab is a worksheet, and each worksheet contains data that, once entered into the Microsoft Access database, will become a table for the Menagerie Kennel database. Each worksheet has a column at the very beginning which has some kind of term with the letters ID. The reason that the worksheets are set up this way is because the first column is going to serve as the primary key for the table inside the database. So for example, if we go here and look at the pets worksheet, we can see that each pet name has a unique pet ID. So that pet ID is unique. None of them are repeated. It is not left blank. So this will serve as our unique identifier. It will never be repeated. It will never be blank. It will always be unique to that individual, and it should never need to be changed. That is the third criteria. So Kiara Marie, for example, will always be P01, so she will be pet 1. Fuzzy will be pet 11, referred to and connected to other tables. The other item that you can notice here is that the last three columns also have an ID. You have owner ID, vet ID, and ANM ID. If we were to look at the owner table, we can see that the primary key for the owner table is owner ID. So that primary key becomes a foreign key in the pet table so as to link the owner's information to the pet's information. So for example, looking again at Kiara Marie, who is a beagle, she's tricolor, she weighs 30 pounds, she's 15 inches tall, she's sociable. The owner has a primary key of C01. So if we go back to the owner table and we find C01, we can see here that Kiara's owner is named Anna Bedex. So Anna, because her owner ID is C01, she owns Kiara Marie. You can also see that she is listed as the owner for Holly Joe as well. So that's how their data gets related. You use the primary key from the owner table and place that information into a field in the pet table. It becomes the foreign key. Same way for the vet, we can identify who Kiara's vet is based upon the vet ID, and we can identify what animal type she is based upon her animal ID. So knowing that she's a beagle, I should be able to look here and think that A01 is probably dog. If I go to animal type and I see A01, it is dog. So the reason that you do this and you separate this data out is to reduce the redundancy inside of the database. So for example, if we had 200 pets and 50 of them were some type of dog, you wouldn't want to have to type dog 50 times because it would be really easy to have typographical errors. Accidentally type God or accidentally type Doug or something instead of dog. So by just entering A01, I know that whenever I have to search for all the dogs that the kennel provides services for, I can simply search for A01 and locate it, and I don't have to worry about this information. Additionally, another reason that you do this, not only to save having to enter the same data over and over again and potentially create errors on information you might have to sort through, is the idea of connecting to the vet information. For example, if we were to go to the vet table, we can see that, for example, Elizabeth Anderson is vet 04. And vet 04 takes care of several of the animals here. So Sammy, Powerhouse, Chewy, Chunky. So if we had her name listed here as Elizabeth Anderson and she got married, we would have to go in and change her name in every field where she is listed if we were not using her ID to connect that information. Using that ID to connect that information allows us to go here, make the change in one field. So say she married someone named Johnson. We would simply change her last name to Johnson here, and anytime we needed to sort for her information based upon the pets that she provides services to, we would get the accurate information. So that's how you think about splitting up your data, how to make the data cleaner so that you only enter information in one place and you don't have to enter it in multiple places. Information, if it could easily change, vets may change phone numbers, they may change structures of their email address or their web pages. You wouldn't have to change it for every vet. You would only have to change it for the one veterinarian's office that is listed here. So that is how we think about the data as it is set up. Now, one table that is a little bit different, as was mentioned in the description sheet, is this app serve table. There is a many-to-many relationship between the appointments and the services. During one appointment, an animal could receive multiple services. So they could be boarded overnight for several days, and while they're boarded, they're groomed, they're bathed, they're walked. So that would be considered one appointment during that period of several days that they're at the kennel. And so they could have several services related to one appointment. And you also see that multiple animals are going to be boarded. So you're going to have multiple services related to multiple appointments. Access doesn't deal well with many-to-many relationships. It prefers the one-to-many relationship. So the way that this is created is what's called a junction table. And the junction table simply needs the appointment ID and the service ID. So this is the appointment that took place and the service that was provided. And you can see here that for appointment 1, there were 3 different services that were provided. So appointment 1, which took place from 8:14 to 8:28, provided services 3, 7, and 10. So services 3, a daycare walk, a large animal bath, and a daycare board. So those 3 services were provided on this one appointment. This allows a creation of a one-to-many relationship between the appointments, appointment 1 to many, and then from services, you can also have the relationship, the one-to-many relationship as well. So you have the case where you have service 2, for example, that was offered here. So you have a board overnight. You have one service provided on many appointments. So appointment 2 and 3 both provided service 2. So we'll set this relationship up inside the database, but that is how you structure the data inside Excel to make it easier to import the data into Microsoft Access.